Okay, so I've had some questions about my way of using the Nashville numbering system, and I knew it would come because, for one thing, I do my numbering system for kind of what I call the rest of us because I'm not a studio musician, although I've done some studio stuff before. The people I had a subscriber ask me where should I go to learn more about this and to learn it the right way. If you want to be a studio musician, I would say you go to some of the sources of where it started. I'll try to put in the name of the guy. There is a real in-depth tutorial of how the guy that developed this back in the 60s, 50s or 60s, he actually did a tutorial. And it's kind of hard to watch because he does it on like one of these overhead screen things where you got markers and all. Anyway, so when I say the rest of us are not studio musicians. We're just looking for a way to be able to change the chords, change the key of songs that we already know. We just want to be ready for when a singer in a church or in a band or whatever wants to do it in a different key. For instance, on the screen here I've got Amazing Grace. And it's where I did it in the key of D with my buddy Jamie Griffin. Now, let's say that my wife Nikki didn't want to do it in D; she wanted to do it in a different key. Well, the Amazing Grace you see here would be a little bit difficult then for her to sing it in that key, or maybe Jamie and I chose to sing it too high, and somebody else wants to sing it a little lower. Let me show you what I've got. So I've got this in the key of D. I'm going to sing you a couple verses of it. Forgive my voice. I'm not a great singer, but let's do verse 1. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see. Now, in this arrangement of this song, I've got it modulating a little bit every single verse. It's a long song, so to make it more interesting, I changed the chord structure around a little bit. For instance, down here in verse 3, where we have through many dangers, toils, and snares. Let me show you kind of how I did that. And we'll use this. Be patient with me. When we get to the numbering system version, you'll see kind of how I've used this so we can transpose real quickly. But so the third verse is, through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already come. 'Tis grace that brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home. So you can see I've changed almost every verse down here toward the end, so it would go back to be a little bit more dramatic. I go to a very simpler, much more simple, stripped back version of it, and then we add some sevenths. In some places we've got some ninths and things like that. So let me show you a version I've done of Amazing Grace with the Nashville numbering system. And so now let's say we've got a singer that doesn't want to sing it in D. They might want to sing it in G or A or E. E. Let's try E. So I got to know where my 1, 4, 5. That's what I did in the other video. My 1, 4, 5, my 6, my 2, 3. Really good to know all of it right quick. So like E, we know that the E is going to be the 1 chord. 2 chord is going to be the F sharp minor, although I tend to put the major on it because I know that in gospel music a lot of times that 2 chord is going to be a major chord. So I always, if I know it's going to be a minor chord, I use a little M and I put it, and this is just me. Some people do 2 chord and they just take for granted it's going to be a minor. Me, since I'm doing a lot of gospel music, when I put the 2 chord down, I mean for it to be a major chord. Same if I do the 3 chord, if I put 3 and no M after it, then I'm thinking it's going to be a major chord. This is my way of doing it. Just years of using it for gospel music, for hymns and things. So my 1 is an E. My 2 chord is going to be the F sharp minor. My 3 chord is going to be the G sharp minor or A flat minor. My 4 chord is going to be the A. My 5 chord is going to be the B. My 6 chord is going to be this D flat minor. And then we're going to have our That's hard to play up here. So this is where it becomes good to know your alternate chords on the next set of strings up, right? So the diminished chord is going to be really tough to play down here. So let's say we're playing it and we're using some of these chords, right? So I've got 1 chord, 2 chord, 3 chord, 4 chord is the A, 5 chord is the B, 6 chord is that D flat minor, and then my diminished chord is going to be right here, and back to my 1 chord. So the 7 chord diminished, which we don't use very much, and then to the 1 chord again. Excuse me, burp. So now that we know what the chords are, let me play those 2 verses transposed to E just on the fly here. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch, major chord, like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. Didn't have to think about it. Just got my 1s, my 4s, my 5s, my 6 minors, whatever else. Let's go to that fancier third verse right here where we got the through many dangers, toils, and snares. You'll see I've got a major 7th in here. That's what the J7 is for. That denotes for me, that's my way of doing it, major 7, because I use an M for minor, so the J just helps me think more major, right? So let's sing this verse here. 1 chord. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already come. 'Tis grace that brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home. Now you'll notice I've got a thing here called climb. A lot of times I'll put climb so that I'll know what I'm going to do. For instance, or for that walk down from the 4 to the 1, I went. And you'll learn the walk downs as you play. Typically a walk up from a chord is going to be the 1, 1, 2, 3, and then from the 5 chord, it's usually going to be a right. There's your 5. It's usually a. Sometimes we do that. Sometimes it's just a. So I could do another verse here. Let's do and when this flesh and heart shall fail. Not many people know this verse anyway. I've got a 9th chord in this too. So me, as I mentioned in my other video, when it's a true 9, where it's just a real 9, not the jazzy kind of 9, the 7th 9, then I usually put H9 to tell me that it's my hard 9th. This one here is intended, where this flesh is here, this 1-9, is intended to be a jazzy 9, right? What the kind of the bluesy 9s. So let's do that verse and see if I can follow it right quick. And when this flesh and heart shall fail, and mortal life shall cease, I shall possess within the veil a life of joy and peace. So hopefully you can see the usefulness of this. You can put arrangements in, and one of the things you're going to see, since the person asked me how is the best place to learn this, what you're going to see a lot of it is them showing how to do repeats, how to do what they call their Doritos, where they are showing that there's hard stops or there's ends, or extend here, or modulate to this or that here. Me personally, just for the rest of us, for us regular 99% that are not studio musicians, I think this is one of the best ways to use the Nashville Number System. So like now, again, if I knew I wanted to do this in A, I would know what to, or B flat or whatever. For instance, A. Amazing grace, How sweet the sound that saved. So in other words, I could just on the fly real quickly transpose to the key of A. I'm not going to bore you with it because I can't sing it in that key. But that shows the way to do it. So what I would do if you aspire to be a Nashville studio musician who wants to know how to do all their tricks and stuff, then I would say go watch some of those videos. I'm trying to remember the guy's name that started the whole thing. There are some really good videos, but I think the best use for it for most of us folks, most of us people are going to go out and play acoustically or gig or going to be accompanying people, would be to do what I've done here. Maybe work it out in a key that you like, do your arrangement in a key that you can sing in, and then transpose it into the numbering system so that you can use it for anybody. That's the power of it, is instantaneous key change. If we're doing it in B flat, where our 1, 4, 5, or 6 minor, and all that is. And so, amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. See, I don't even know what those chords are, some of them, but I know what the 1, 4, 5, 6, minor 2, minor 3, or major 2, major 3, whatever you want to, however you want to denote it. Me again, just as I'm doing gospel music, I use M's for the 2s and 3s and the 6s. And if I don't put an M, then it means it's a major chord. It typically only happens with the A, with the 2 chord, but it can happen on other chords as well. Hopefully, this has helped again. Just having this to look at and see how I work through the process. I would say, particularly if you're doing gospel music, what I've been doing is there are 35, 40 songs that are going to be sung at my church all the time. We don't have a piano player. I'm the guitar player. And you never know what key the lady that's singing the lead singing wants to sing the song in. So a lot of times just on the fly, we'll just figure it out right then and there. And if I have those 30, 40, 50 songs that are the most commonly sung songs worked out ahead of time, and I can go to a Nashville numbering page and she says, I want to know more about my Savior, I want to know more than or farther along, I can flip my page and I've got a Nashville number, and if she starts in B flat, I'm cool. If she starts in F, I'm cool. If she starts in A flat, I'm cool. So that's the power of it, is being able to play in keys where you don't even know the chords. You just know where to go to get to the 1, 4, 5, minor 6, or whatever you need to get through the song. You don't even have to know what you're playing. Just know the positions of those on the fretboard. Hopefully this has helped. Peace to all who watch. Again, subscribe to the channel. If you like, there are no dumb questions. Many thanks, and I hope this has been helpful for somebody.